Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 595 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and as expected, on today's news orbit, we have Chris DeBona.
Hi.
And Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
Gentlemen, you both look glorious today. Glorious.
I'm feeling glorious.
Yep, glorious. Not gonna get my shot. All right, let's see. I've been singing that stupid Hamilton song all week because of all the media.
Because all the shots.
Getting the shots.
Okay.
I did see on Facebook, I liked the comment, if you don't post the picture of you with the vaccination card, are you even vaccinated? All right, let's see here. Microsoft in talks to buy Discord for more than $10 billion. Not bad for Slack, or for IRC, or for all of these.
Discord. Discord. I love Discord.
You mean IRC with
pictures? I
pictures?
really like it.
Yeah, they got it right. They got it right. You know,
they really did nail it.
What kills me is watching my children stumble through Zoom when Discord hands down is better than Google Hangouts, better than Zoom, better than Slack. Like, I don't understand why you would use anything else. Discord is just better on every metric that I can see.
So if you have a boosted server, I have to tell you, the audio is a little better, and it's actually a really nice experience. I did a video call for the first time in Discord, and it was all right.
Yeah,
it's
great. I mean, I've been wanting to try Discord again for movie night because I think that might offer us some better options. But that, like, specifically, like, allowing more people to watch, and chat real time, like, integrated. I think that would be really fun. But I mean, Discord is just a good example. Like, they took the things that were being done mediocre and just got rid of a lot of the problems, and it's pretty smooth.
And also, can I be honest? They're clearly a consumer service. They're not screwing around with identity issues the way that Slack is. Like, when you join a Slack server, you're that server's user, and it's so confusing. Like, and they avoided that totally. Discord's like, yeah, we're just for gamers. If you want to do that, so on our, For the game company, we've got the public server and we've got the private server, but it's the users are the same between them.
Sure.
It's such a good interface, and I like Stuart Butterfield. He's a pal. He's a nice person. He's the one who created Slack, but Discord is actually efficient and not a dog slow implementation. Anyway,
I haven't spent too much time digging into the architecture, the front end, the clients of the different things, but I know that Slack is a bloated mess. It seems
really
like
is.
It's consuming all of my resources.
I have to tell you, that's why it was perfect for Salesforce to buy them, because it's just like like needs like.
I mean, if you gotta figure out some way to get people to buy 64 gigs of RAM next year.
Well, I mean, all I can say is, I love every gigabyte on this machine. It allows me to do so much at once. I can play Astroneer while Discording, while doing a meeting. It's great. I'm not playing Astroneer right now.
All the memories.
But there have been times where I've let Astroneer just churn and generate hydrazine while I do work.
While you do your things. My only problem with doing that sort of thing is that I detest fan noises. And having my fan, like, I have to turn my computer off when I'm not using it because the fans drive me so nuts, and I can't hear them when I have the ear blockers in, but I only have those in when we're recording. And just hearing fans makes me it's nails on a chalkboard, any acoustic noise, which is actually my current frustration as I'm trying to find a monitor that doesn't have a fan, or at least, like, because the big monitors now all have fans in them.
Well, the good ones do.
I know.
The ones that have G-Sync, they have to.
I know, that's bad. I want to find one that doesn't.
This ROG monitor, it's 4K G-Sync monitor. It has a fan. It never comes on though, unless I'm playing like the most excellent of games. 144 hertz. It's a wonder.
Well, my problem with the fan is that my mic is sitting, I don't know, 4 inches away from my monitor. It would pick up that fan, so I don't want to deal with that. But
Have you dialed in like a cardioid pattern or an omnidirectional pattern? Because I'm using a cardioid pattern that really just faces me, and so you're not picking up, I don't think, anyways, the construction noise, in the
No,
next lot over,
with
or the
you, what we
fan,
pick up
or
is the iced tea
keyboard
action.
noise. Yeah, baby.
You got
Yeah.
well. There's something that I don't know what you do. There's something that you slide on your desk, and we hear that. It might be glasses, but you are always sliding things on your desk. That's the
Well,
only thing that I get from your room.
there's mechanical keyboard noise. There's this noise.
That's nothing.
Anyway, that was mouse sliding noise. So.
Let's see. Okay, so.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the chair. I should grease the chair.
Ooh, yeah.
Because
chair lube.
Here. Ready?
Oh yeah, I can hear that. What you should probably
this is
do
Uriah's.
is
I traded a computer to Uriah for his chair. So
you should get a ROG Republic of Gamers chair lube tube.
Oh,
it's $80 a tube.
Thermal paste.
The
chair.
The tube itself has RGB on it. It lights up. So when you squeeze it, like lights. Yeah, as you extract the lube. It's weird.
And yeah, that's a very good choice.
But that's what the Republic of Gamers lube I think would have. Chair lube.
Chair lube.
So what we do in the shadows has a spin-off about the cops.
Yeah, you knew about this, right?
About this.
Yeah, it's like Wellington Paranormal, right? Yeah. So yes, this has been around now for a couple of years, and it's very charming, but I haven't spent a lot of time watching it. But yeah, this is Wellington Paranormal.
I didn't know that this even existed. I assume that were I to look with some amount of depth, I could find this without waiting for it to technically come to the U.S.
Oh yeah, I mean it's on all the sites.
I didn't know about this. I'm tickled to watch it. The What We Do in the Shadows is very popular in my home.
So when they were creating What We Do in the Shadows, there was a very popular show, like public access in I think Dunedin in the South Island. It might have been Christchurch, and it was called Back of the Y. And you should download those. Right. It's some of the funniest skits ever. And they had something, and I'm not going to say the name on family podcasts, but it was Constables, but with a U instead of an O.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so it was this running skit that they just did from time to time. And it was just like the biggest jerks arresting the hickiest rednecks ever. I would say Back of the Y probably inspired the creation of Letterkenny. It definitely inspired the creation of Wellington Paranormal and What We Do in the Shadows. It sounds to me like they all just got
Reno 911.
Oh yeah, it's so good, But this was like 20 years ago, right? Oh. So this is So Back of the Y and right. Wellington Paranormal. It's so funny, and there's some on YouTube.
I'll remain hopeful, but. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is What We Do in the Shadows too. Like you can see that falling off the rails at any point.
I guess it depends on who does it and how Americanized they try to make it. Yeah, because they had a show called Ghosted that was basically this premise, and it was like okay for a couple episodes, and then it seriously got bad. So.
Well, that's the thing about these shows. You either change so quickly that your show falls apart, or you become so locked into your stasis. That's the CW show problem. You're so locked into your stasis, nobody ever changes, and everything becomes boring and stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pasting in the channel.
I'm all in for watching at least an episode of anything, and I would like to see this. So all right, Alan Turing gets to be on the 50-pound note.
Really?
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Isn't that nice?
Where's my current story?
It's nice that the UK is trying to make amends for being pretty damn horrible.
Sorry for all that awfulness.
What was it? Being gay was illegal in the United Kingdom until 1960? I mean, it was...
Yeah. Well, they were like chemically castrating people. I mean,
it was
the worst.
I can't think of the name of the actual tome for psychological diagnoses, but it was in there.
As the DSM-4.
Yeah. It was in there as a problem for a long enough time that it would make you embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, I mean, we're all computer people. When you think of people like Turing and you go, man, if they had just been able to be allowed to live a little longer, imagine what they could have done,
He's
we would have had Discord in 1980.
They would have sold it for 15 billion pounds because the UK would have still been a dominant world power and not Brexit crap.
This is such a good point, Mr. Malda. Remember, the United Kingdom's not big. It's like 36 million people, 60 million people. I mean, it's not a big country, right? And so they've been kind of on the decline as a world power for a very long time.
Ever since all of their infrastructure got destroyed in World War II.
No. I mean, it's because of policies like this where they drive out the people who innovate and only keep the chavs. I mean, honestly, that's actually a little not fair. They're kind of like Los Angeles, right? They've kept their creative industries afloat, and it's their big export. But other than that, meh.
Yeah.
Anyway, imagine if they had been a little more friendly to folks like Turing. That's all.
That's right. Turns out, just because you're a little different than what you grew up with, maybe you're all right. Maybe you even could be smart. Weird, right?
We would have had a British internet in 1960.
British internet. Oh man,
trying to bring forward things 10 years.
I'm trying to think of what a British internet would look like.
A Britternet. It looked like Minicom.
The Britternet.
The Britternet.
I'm sorry. The Britternet has to shut down. It's time for tea. So all the packets have to stop for 20 minutes.
Yeah, at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock every afternoon.
Yeah.
You have to have little cucumber sandwiches. So.
All right. Space Wine.
I'm lagging on my job here. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you're actually lagging a little bit in general, but I don't know. That might be me too.
That might just be my brain. I don't know.
No, that could be. Space Wine.
Space Wine.
Space Wine.
This is a great story.
Tell me about this, Chris.
Well,
after you accept the 1,000 GDPR warnings.
Oh my gosh, there's so many warnings. I don't care about former Scottish Prime Minister. Okay, Chateau Petrus is one of those wines. It's a Bordeaux adjacent, made from Merlot grapes from very very close to the Saint-Emilion region of France. Sells for between $3,000 and $4,000 a bottle, typically.
Jeez.
And they sent a case of it to the International Space
Station. That's a lot. Like weight-wise, that's expensive.
It's expensive to ship. It's expensive to build, make, and then ship to the space station. And they did it because they wanted to see if wine, oxygen. This is a bunch of BS.
Right?
Can I be clear?
This is a publicity stunt.
This is a brilliant publicity stunt.
For sure.
But for who? It's not like Chateau Petrus is going to make more than 30,000 bottles a year.
Well, sure, but maybe they can sell every bottle for $100 more because just like the Omega watch, people still want to buy the Omega astronaut watch.
Yeah, and Hasselblad cameras. Yeah. Even though I think they're owned by DJI now.
We've talked about this. Yeah, they're owned by somebody else.
So I would expect what really happened is they sent a case up. Maybe 10 bottles came back.
There's a finder's fee. There's a finder's fee for any liquor that travels through the Russian section of the space station.
Well, no, I mean, there's no alcohol in space, but I'd imagine it'd be kind of nice to have a glass of tipple, as a celebration for Christmas or New Year's or the Terminator changing
or Thursday
Thursday,
Man. Wouldn't that be nice?
But then I bet you it came back and they're gonna like, well, we're gonna do science on one of the bottles, which means they're gonna drink it with another bottle that they had controlled down here on planet Earth. And I'm just like, and then they'll probably sell 6 of the bottles at an insane premium, right? Can you imagine?
I mean,
like
you only need
what
to
wine
sell one.
snobs will do.
You only need to sell one, and you probably break even on the whole event.
Yeah, I mean, true wine snobs are gonna be like, space Chateau Petrus? I'm there.
Right? I know a guy who bought shitty wine just because it had a Picard written on the label.
Right? Well, this is what I was gonna ask. Should they have sent up a case of Chateau Picard?
I was thinking the same thing, and I was afraid that would cause the universe to collapse on itself.
That would have been wonderful.
It's space wine and it's space wine.
I wish Picard the show had been better, because I would love like someone to smuggle as part of their 50 kilogram weight allowance a bottle of Chateau Picard.
They're allowed 50 kilograms?
Yeah, I think that's their weight allowance.
Whoa.
Yeah. Or, remember, these are slimmer people. I'm afraid I'd waste that on myself,
Oh, I thought it was 50 kilograms in addition to their own person. That seems unfair.
It is. Yeah, that's what I don't know how true it is, right? So,
well, yeah, it would have to be more than 50 kilograms for the person and their stuff.
Maybe they're sending up really tiny people.
Yeah.
Well, like all the Mercury astronauts were they were all like 5'8", 5'6". They were all 160 pounds. They were tinier.
Yeah. That's still more than 50 kilograms.
Yeah.
So those stories that go around about how X and Y are like this because of the Romans and their roads.
Yeah, the rockets. And
I'd imagine there's like
butts.
Yeah, exactly. Because rockets had to go on the rocket segments of the Saturn V had to go on trains of the size they are because of the Romans, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I'd imagine there's like a astronauts can only be 5'6" because if they were taller than the roads the Romans were on. Anyways, you get where I'm going with this.
I get where you're going with it. All right. So I had one in there, a system that automatically generates comic books from movies and other videos.
Oh.
I actually just thought that was a really it's an obvious idea, and it's one that you could definitely see, like a machine learning task to figure that out, because so much of comic books is about pacing and about thoughtful placement of bubbles and like what frames you give more real estate to. And this article is actually really interesting because this software generates comic book panels based on video clips, and they were talking about how they were trying to figure out, because one of the problems that they had was sometimes they would choose frames that were too similar, and so that it was creating pages that when they put it in front of human people to rate the comic books, they would not find those panels as cool because they were they would be less each individual frame would be less interesting. But I think that's a really neat idea. I could imagine this actually being useful in some cases, and I could actually imagine some stories might even be better suited to being told this way.
Yeah, like I see they use Friends there, and I personally would like it if Friends was just a comic book and not an actual television show.
I hate Friends.
You find Gunter annoying?
Ugh.
It's not Gunter. It's everyone. Literally everyone. It's a terrible show about terrible people.
It ages really badly.
Oh, God, they're awful.
I can still rewatch Seinfeld.
I really like
every
Courtney
now and
Cox.
But yeah. I tried to rewatch Seinfeld, or I tried to rewatch Friends, and I could not do it. It just does not hold up.
I think Friends actually is why we had Donald Trump for 4 years.
Wow, that's a long game, long play.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It just allowed like this sniping, mean, snippy approach to communications, and people thought that's what friendship was.
If there was no Smelly Cat song, Donald Trump would have been president. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, isn't Smelly Cat, momentarily funny, but not,
Isn't Ross and Rachel's relationship really just a metaphor for America?
No.
Of course not.
No. It's improbable. They're both incredibly dislikable people. She's pretty, sure. And what happened to the monkey? Wasn't there a monkey involved?
There was a monkey.
Also,
so dumb.
Do you know how angry I am that he was a paleontologist?
Right.
That is almost what I did for a living.
Ooh.
That was something I thought about doing for a very long point in my life.
Can you imagine?
He's a paleontologist.
Can you imagine if you had gone down that road? Every single person that you encountered is like, "Hello, how are you? I'm Rob. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a paleontologist. Oh, you must be a huge fan of Friends."
And I would punch them. I would hit them with my dinosaur bones that I keep in my pockets.
As all paleontologists are
I'll
prone
just
to
do.
do.
What's the point of being a paleontologist if you can't carry around dinosaur bones?
Well, we call them pocket fossils in the trade. So,
Yeah.
you know, anytime someone even starts to say the word Ross, you just whip it out and ring them up over the face.
How's your monkey?
Bang. How's your monkey?
So the FBI has, shockingly, the FBI is warning us that deepfakes are going to be used to influence the public in the next 6 to 18 months.
Oh no, you're kidding me.
Shocked.
All you have
Wait,
to
where
do,
is the story?
22 hours ago. It's in between Alan Turing and video book comics on my zone.
all you have to do is look at all the pages of people who think Onion stories are real.
Yeah, for sure.
All the senators who think Onion stories are real.
Yeah, so
all the representatives who think QAnon is real. If
you can't discern between real news and the Onion, there's no way a deep fake is not going to fool you.
There's got to be some sort of equation which it like to rate how implausible a statement is against your own personal biases, and to figure out like, well, this on a scale of 1 to 10, if your bias is already an 8, that you believe this thing, then how convincing does the technology have to be? Because as like you're saying, Rob, the Onion satire is too subtle. And sure, maybe some of the satire is too clever. Sure, you can make that argument because 50% of people are stupid. But
my favorite example of all time of that is the Onion ran a story about how they needed to clean the killer whale tanks. So they put the killer whales in gigantic plastic bags, like you do goldfish, so they could clean the tank. And people lost their shit.
Yep.
They were putting killer whales in these giant plastic bags while they cleaned the tank. I thought, you are not designed for the internet age.
Right. You might have been really good.
There's a Snopes entry for it.
Yeah.
This is good times.
All right.
That's
a great story. Yeah. No, that's not real. That's somebody who thought
but they have a
Finding
picture,
Nemo was
Rob.
funny.
They have a picture.
You can't Photoshop
Don't tell me that was
pictures.
deep faked.
But that's the thing is that like, so we've talked a lot about the uncanny valley, right? So there's probably an equation that you can punch in, like you don't believe Superman's jaw in the original Justice League because it doesn't fall the uncanny valley. But if you're already prone to believing QAnon crap, then how much of Superman's jaw wiggle will you tolerate and still believe what's being told to you? It's gonna be. I'm pretty sure the next couple of years we're gonna see something really horrible.
Yeah.
Pile it on. Speaking of really horrible, Jessica Walter, the Lucille from Arrested Development,
the loose seal,
and what was her character on Archer?
Isn't she
the person in charge,
mom?
Right?
Yeah. Archer's mom, the lady in charge of the spy company. Can't think what it's called.
Yeah, Spyco.
It was originally ISIS.
It was ISIS.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
But it was ISIS before ISIS, I think, became a problem. She died. She made it to 80. You make it to 80, you're a world champ as far as I'm concerned. And
that's a pretty good run.
Arrested Development is still. I will go back and rewatch the first several scenes of Arrested Development.
First 3 seasons.
Whatever the seasons was before the Netflix season, is that the one that really falls apart? I thought that was 4, but I don't even remember.
4 was the one that was just a mess.
I mean, the last 2 seasons of that show don't really work.
There's not the show to me. It's like the first 3 were such perfect television,
and innovative in so many ways. The Russo brothers were doing the camera work and the production on there. All the handheld single camera thing before that was a thing. I mean, that show is crazy innovative, and her character is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, just the cultural impact of her character. I mean, when I posted this in channel, I was like, well, what could a funeral cost? $10? You know, it's like, just, she was such a great actor, you know, perfect for that role, you know. And I don't know if y'all have a mother-in-law or grandmother that was this lady, just like the worst, you know. But just,
nope, all of my relatives turns out are pretty nice.
So my Aunt Rose, she wasn't mean like Jessica Walter's character was in Arrested Development, but she was extremely quippy, and she smoked, and she would like come up to us kids and slap $20 into our hands and say, "Don't tell your parents," you know. And it's like, and like, you know, watching Jessica Walters was like watching my Aunt Rose, you know, reincarnated. It was just so great, you know.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it is a bummer, you know.
But you know, as I like to think, you know, you left behind, you made a mark in the world, and she did. So good on her.
Speaking of making a mark in the world, though,
where's I think I put it in channel, the URL we should click on the "Is the boat still stuck?" It's "Is the ship still stuck.com." It's time to find out.
I'm on there.
Now, you know, I will give you that driving a boat is difficult. But,
Rob, I've been with you on the boat many times where we very nearly destroyed something.
Yeah, but did you block, you know, I-80? You know?
And I've always pulled us back from doom.
Yep.
Whenever it got close.
But one day the motor is gonna you're gonna press the button and it ain't gonna do the thing you need it to do, and we are gonna smash into something.
Well, that day hasn't come.
That's right. So this story is nuts. And what I still don't know, like nobody's really talking about how this happened. We're still kind of in the
No, I mean, there's been ample discussion about how it happened.
Well, okay, so what happened? Was it a computer error?
So
Was somebody drunk?
No. They had a power outage.
Oh.
And so they started slewing. The pilot that was provided by the Suez Canal that they have to pay $10,000 for didn't know what to do, or was sleeping. And yeah, they
so it was the fault. It was essentially the fault of the Suez Canal Authority itself.
Yeah, I think in the end that's how it has to be, you know, done. Because
this is another story that I don't think most people properly appreciate just how much momentum and just how huge these ships are.
Oh,
like
they're
like turning, slowing up, speeding up. These are all things that literally take miles.
Yeah.
Because you know, this is not a Corvette. This is a building that you are pushing in a direction in the water. Yeah, you know.
I think the turning radius of this ship is 71 miles. No, it's 71 miles.
You have all of Maine to turn.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the way that it augured in, it's like, you know, let's go back to is the ship still suck?
Well, again, Rob, I just think about how much inertia we have just with, you know, 4 grown men sitting on your 14-foot pontoon. That's a
20 by 10.
Yeah, that's a ton of inertia, and this is a million of those.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was actually explaining this to my kids, the critical. The criticalness of the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal to global shipping. I mean, like they were showing pictures of all the boats just kind of chilling on both sides of the canal now. Like it's blocked.
Yeah. The Suez Canal gets used a lot more now. A lot of the big boats are too big now to go through the Panama Canal correctly. So a lot of those shipping companies just go around South America again. Or use trains to ship stuff. But the Suez Canal still is used for bigger boats.
Isn't there like a widening project going on
in Panama?
This is actually the widening project was in 2014. where they actually widened the canal and it made it deeper. I'm talking about the Suez now, right? The Panama Canal has gone through a number of widenings. So
all I know is that don't they call them Panamax boats, like the biggest
Panamax
boats
and
that'll
Suez
fix?
Max? Yep.
Yeah. And
these are big boats. So this is 10,000 containers, 20,000 20-foot container equivalent units. It's
right, and these are the containers that people build houses out of.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 of those containers is a small apartment.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I was living in the UP and just some of those Great Lake freighters, which typically are bigger than most of these, or at least the old ocean liners, because the Great Lakes don't have waves near as big as the ocean. So you would get 1,000-foot boats going through that river. And when they do, they would literally displace the river. You could see the water rush in and rush back out from just it falling in or being pushed out from this giant ship going by. It's really crazy.
Meanwhile, at least 160 ships carrying vital fuel and cargo are waiting to pass through the blocked waterway.
And
so they provided a dredger that is finally arrived. It can remove 2,000 cubic meters of material every hour. They have to remove 706,000 cubic meters of sand, they think.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's 350 hours, running full bore. And that thing ain't going to run full bore.
I like to think that it's just this guy, this one crane.
Yeah.
It's like, come on,
just
guys.
Right?
Somebody help.
Couple dudes with crowbars and a tow strap.
I will give them credit.
Get the winch.
I will give them
come along. Almost got her.
Hey, you're sliding a little bit. You're gonna get some sandbags, put them under the tires.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So.
All right.
Now remember, I had one of these diggers out to the property to dig my my liquid propane tank undergrounding, right? And it was about half the size of this thing. And I'm like, shouldn't you have something better?
Sorry, sir. We're shipping all of our big cranes out to the Suez.
No. I mean, they should have something better.
They should have all of the things. But I mean, this has not happened.
That's the point of a canal.
This is not
to give you an idea of scale, though. Like that tread is probably like 2.5, maybe 3 feet tall. Yeah. That tread there, So
right.
So this is a big thing.
We're only seeing like half of the bottom of the boat, and then on top of the boat is the stacks of containers.
Well, no. So we're seeing the top of the bow. The bulbous bow. Everyone's like, I didn't know what a bulbous bow was, and I'm like, oh my god.
Have you not seen Star Blazers?
Have you not seen anything made in the last 50 years?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what reduced the amount of fuel you needed for a crossing by 30%. I mean, come on. Bulbous bows are well known, and it's because America's anti-science. I bet you this goes back to why Britain, with Turing, we would have had bulbous bows in 1940 if they were friendlier to gay people. That's all.
This all checks out. This seems like science. You're not.
This all makes
it's
perfect
not hyperbole.
Sense. Oh no. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
Were you going to upside down rhinoceroses?
What?
You should definitely go to upside down rhinoceroses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is one of Rob's. Tell me about the rhinos, Rob.
I'm waiting for the picture.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Because it's real.
No, they just figured that the healthiest way to transport rhinoceroses was this way. Because they're big enough that when they would put them on stretchers, it reduced their lung capacity, and they of course have to tranquilize them because you don't want to, awake rhinoceros experiencing this. It becomes problematic. So they just figured out that this was the safest medically way to transport them, because they're not like the size of a whale, but they're still a pretty large animal. Like when whales beach themselves, the whole reason they die is because their bodies are literally so massive that they're not designed to exist outside the buoyancy of water. So they're slowly crushing themselves when they beach.
So,
and while a rhinoceros doesn't slowly crush itself, it does greatly reduce its lung capacity, put pressure on the heart, which makes it much more dangerous for anesthetic.
I like that this is the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, this is science right there. That's science.
The real problem, though, is that there's like, what, 1,000 rhinoceroses on the Ever Given, and it's going to take them a real long time to get them all off of it. They're probably not going to get them off before they unstick the boat.
Yeah.
You know, rhinos are... Hippos are the ones that are famously angry, right? I don't know about rhinos.
Rhinos aren't exactly cuddly, but they're generally not as dangerous as a hippopotamus.
What's he doing with that drill?
He's implanting his...
he's putting a radio transmitter in case they drop him while transporting him.
He's implanting his Bill Gates tracking device.
Yeah, he's getting COVID vaccine.
Now, eventually, maybe they get a helicopter pilot who's just so good, he just, trolls the bush for rhinoceroses, just happens to grab their feet like that, so they don't have to be, a whole group of people to do that. But I don't think they're going to get a pilot who's that good. I mean, I've seen some pretty good trick roping, but that would be something.
I mean, there is a point where picking up rhinoceroses upside down is a weird fetish.
Oh, it's so...
Boy, your helicopter has a lot of hours on it, Bob. Well, when I get a little bit of my tipple on...
Rhinos need loving, too.
Yeah.
It's time to go flip some rhinos and and buzz the governor's office. Well, I'm making this my background.
You're making... I like that you have a rhino over top of Chernobyl, so we can have radioactive rhinoceroses. It's gonna
radioactive angry rhinos.
We're gonna have everything.
Why is this... Why am I having so much trouble? All right.
Okay, there you go. That's a good framing.
Yeah, I'm going to flip it so that...
All right, well, the only one that we had left on the list then is that they're going to theoretically allow Viking-style funeral pyres in Maine.
About time, right?
Right. So, did Vikings land in Maine? That's my question. I'd imagine they would, right? I mean, it's kind of northern climes.
I'm sure they must have.
The Maine legislature is considering a proposal.
They've for sure gotten to Newfoundland and some of those areas, so they must have gotten down to Maine.
It's currently legal only in 2 U.S. locations, both in Colorado. Of course.
Of course. Really? You can throw your body on a funeral pyre in Colorado, huh? That's awesome.
Yeah, that both in Colorado. That's a story all by itself, isn't it? I mean, how do you write that sentence and not say, "And now I'm flying to Colorado to these places"?
I mean, I don't think
and like hearing the story of how that happened, I'm sure that would be a very interesting news article.
That there was some sort of awkward...
I'm looking it up.
No, see, it's legal. It's just you got to get the approval of your homeowners association.
Yeah, which is
really
problematic.
Because I mean, I got the puddle outside my window here. I'd love to have a Viking funeral pyre on it.
It does take a lot of wood, and most homeowners associations don't allow pyres over 4 feet tall.
Right.
So it becomes problematic.
We're not even allowed to burn leaves, so I have to feel like burning corpses is straight up out.
Okay, so Crestone, Colorado, you can have an outdoor funeral pyre. This is a picture of it. So, wow. In concrete, just like the Vikings used to use. Yeah.
Yep.
Surrounded by juniper trees. The project asks for a donation of $425 for each cremation. That's a remarkably good price.
That's super cheap.
I mean, normal cremation's like $600, right? $800. I mean, this is $425
at least.
Bargain.
I mean, that's incredible. What a bargain. I feel like we're one of those news stories like, as the price of funerals getting you down, go to Crestone, Colorado. You know.
Well, we were just talking last week about all the bodies in the Ganges River, right?
Right.
It seems like they could like work up some sort of exchange. Although all the bodies are probably stuck in the Suez Canal. Turns out half of
imagine the stuff going bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they have reefer trucks on those things for sure, but
I mean, that's gonna be a big old stinky mess.
What is the Ever Given carrying? Is it all the corpses going home?
It's upside down rhinoceroses. It's bodies from the Ganges River, and it's probably Jessica Walter.
Oh, that's hard. That's unlikely. I mean, she died after the Suez Canal ship got stuck. So.
They flew her there in a helicopter upside down.
I don't know. I mean, so if we don't end up freezing each other's heads and bodies for later reviving by nanotechnology, yeah, I mean, shouldn't we go out with a funeral pyre?
Absolutely.
You know, Crestone, Colorado, you've got a new adherent.
I'm down for it.
Sign me up. All right, Falcon and the Winter Soldier tonight for me. I assume neither of you have watched it yet.
No, not yet. I have to though.
Do you think they're gonna answer the question of why in the universe Sam can't raise a couple $100 grand?
Well, what I'm hoping is that the White Vision goes and co-signs for him, so that they can afford to fix the boat.
Oh, a white person will co-sign, eh?
White Vision.
Yeah. And then we can get into all that.
So if White Vision is basically made of vibranium, then that means he's worth like $1 trillion.
Well, they said you're not going to be able to take this multi-billion-dollar robot home with you. Is what they said in the show. Remember?
So all he has to do is give him like a fingernail.
Yeah. I will say though, given how much vibranium is in production in Wakanda, it's probably not that valuable.
So
it's an entire asteroid.
I have to assume that most of the vibranium-related tech that we see in Black Panther is highly diluted alloys. That's my theory, because I don't feel like
or maybe it's just vibranium foil on everything, like they do with gold, right?
How they brush it on.
Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about it's a floor wax, it's a dessert topping, it's a medical treatment, it's a shield, it's a robot part. It's like, come on. There's a point where vibranium is just, it's your MacGuffin. It's your everything element.
It's your. We need to come up with a term for justification. It's your justification, your excuse, your plot excuse.
Well, that's MacGuffin, right? So
kinda, but a MacGuffin is an object that everybody wants and drives the plot forward. Vibranium is an excuse to allow you to do magic.
Yeah. So let me go to TV tropes on vibranium, which redirects to unobtainium.
That makes sense.
Sigh.
Sounds about right. Well, let's say goodbye to the universe.
Mineral MacGuffin. Goodbye, universe.
Goodbye, Chris Dabona.
Burn my corpse.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
This has been episode 595 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Mulder. We'll see you on Tuesday.